Aloha, Mother Fathers. Welcome in another episode of the Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast, broadcasting all across the audio and video verse on the internets, the YouTubes, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, audio versions, of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app. Kyle Cornell, AA, Anthony Alfred with you as always on the show. The May filming schedule a little delayed, so you're probably seeing this Friday.
Yeah,
at
Friday
some
morning.
point. Friday, congratulations! You get to end your work week with us, which is great. Unless you work weekends, then that sucks to be you.
Hey, at least you start the week there with us. I've been on that schedule.
Hey, there you go.
I understand. That was the Friday through whatever weekend schedule. Man, it's tough.
So the opportunity, I'm using that word instead of delay, the opportunity to do the show a day later. Over the next few weeks, we'll have a couple different times. You guys will see this later because Pete has a life and more important things to do than hang with us. But it gives us the opportunity to watch certain things.
Yes, it does.
And by that, I mean I have the opportunity to not watch certain things moving forward. But we're going to talk about one of those things a little bit later in the show. But
I can tell you embraced your homework assignment. Kyle, and we don't need to get into it on air, but Kyle owed me a favor. And let's just say
I handed you the steel chair.
Let's just say
Actually, I handed you the steel chair so you could hit me over the head.
Yeah.
with it.
In fact, I know we're teasing this like, oh, later on, this is what's coming. You see it on the ticker. You're going to see it on the ticker at the bottom of the screen what he has to review coming up.
I took notes. See how painful that was?
Oh, you took notes?
I took notes.
Oh, no.
I said if I'm going to do it, I'm going to fucking do it. Like, I'm going to make sure like I'm thorough with it. I break down everything so that way we can – when I first came back from North Dakota, I had an audio podcast for a few weeks where I did that with Raw and SmackDown, and I got tired of it real quick.
So I'm telling you, so this might – oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I can.
We want to thank everyone. Well, social media. Follow us. Kyle just mentioned all the social medias. And for our listeners, we mentioned all that.
There's a slide for our audio listeners.
Yeah.
Love that.
It'll stay in there because.
Oh, yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, because if you watch on video, you could always tune in audio too. Maybe you don't have the ability to watch us. You can still listen to the sound of our sultry, deep
Smooth jazz.
voices.
107.3 The Way.
Stop politicking for a job.
They've switched formats twice.
I believe it. That's what we do in Cleveland. We switch formats.
Man.
We're now going to become a hockey podcast.
We want to. Hey, listen. Did you see those? Did you see those Game 7s?
No.
I was gonna. Man,
Absolutely not. I'm
There
sorry.
were- so-
Listen, I respect hockey because I know it's a very difficult sport. It's also very difficult to call too.
Yeah. So I have to mention this. I know, Cavs fans and Celtic fans, but screw Celtics fans. If the Cavs are going to go down, I want all the favorites to go down. Celtics, bye-bye.
Oklahoma City's just going to keep blowing teams out by 45 points.
Right. So the St. Louis Blues,
Yeah.
they were facing Winnipeg in Game 7.
Winnipeg, my adopted favorite team when I moved to Fargo. People were like, "Oh, I'll do the Wild." I'm like, "No."
So St. Louis was up 3-1 with a minute to go in the game.
And they blew it.
Winnipeg scores, and then with 1.6 seconds to go in regulation, they tied the game.
I did not expect you to give me a play-by-play breakdown.
I was
the hockey playoffs
Well,
in the
you
first
know
round.
why? Because on the other side, because the Cavs lost Game 1.
So you were already pissed off.
I was already, okay. And then Golden State, Houston really didn't put up a fight in their Game 7.
Right.
And Draymond was swinging, Draymond thinks pro wrestling is real.
He was swinging dong. Yeah.
Yeah. So I flipped over to TBS. I was watching the hockey Game 7.
Just careful when you flip over to TBS. You might see an AEW ad. And it might make you want to turn the TV
I
off.
will admit, maybe the best part of Wednesday nights on TBS is Modern Family.
That lead-in was great.
Because my recording of Dynamite, it includes the back end because of the overrun.
Yeah.
So it included a full episode of Modern Family.
Mine didn't. Mine cut off right after the overrun, which I was very grateful for because I didn't even want to watch that. But yeah.
Thank you, Sling TV, for putting that in.
Sling and dong like Draymond Green in Game 7.
Thank you to our audience. Thank you to everyone in Cleveland because
Yeah.
somehow, some way, we are a finalist for the best sports podcast, according to Cleveland Scene. A lot of great podcasts, a lot of football.
We know that obviously the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, because they have the names they do, we love Jay Crawford, that whole group. They are the front runners, so to speak.
Earl to Pearl, shout out to you, my guy.
Yeah, but wouldn't be the first time an underdog came through, and we're the only wrestling podcast. Every other podcast there was essentially Browns-based.
Yeah.
We're the only wrestling podcast in Cleveland to be featured on this Final Five. There was a huge process to vote to get to this point, so we appreciate you guys for showing your support. And hey, if you want to click a vote one more time, let's surprise a few more people.
Yeah.
Let's bring home some hardware. Let's do it.
You can vote daily. That's the website up top. Vote.clevec.com. You see the link when we podcast the show.
Scene.
Yeah. That doesn't mean we can't break down. But if Shador Sanders ever showed up on Raw or SmackDown or AEW, he's in the rundown.
First, he's got to be able to show up on the field.
He got to show up. He got to make the team first. He got to make the team.
He's the fifth quarterback.
You know, when sports, we have background and history with radio and sports background and news background.
I have an advanced sports broadcasting degree.
So when things happen,
how about that?
In
Still
our
haven't
world,
seen it yet. Don't know if it exists or not, but I have it apparently.
When things happen in our world, kind of filter in. For example, I came across something on Twitter today.
Just you, because I don't have social media. So
yeah.
This is all going to be you.
So, if you ever want to say that Triple H does not value long-term booking, you are out your mother blanking mind. So, who's the star player for the Indiana Pacers?
TJ McConnell.
Who's the star player for the
Tyrese Halliburton.
Okay. Who's the star player for the New York Knicks?
Oh, my God. It's Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
But Cat is the best.
Yeah, he does.
They need to mic him up every game.
What?
When he gets fouled, it's constant. I don't know, Pete, have you seen that? So Karl Anthony Towns is the big man for New York. When he gets fouled, he sounds like that. Oh, my God. Foul.
So
I fucking died. I'm like, what?
So what do those two players that we mentioned have in common at this moment as of Friday morning, as of this taping Friday morning?
I think they're playing their games tonight. No, they're not tomorrow.
Indiana's playing tonight. Jalen Brunson's playing tomorrow.
Well, they're both up 2-0 in their series.
That is correct.
Against two favorites.
They're both up 2-0 in their series.
Against two 60-win teams. Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, against the two favorites. They are on teams that have come back from 20-point deficits. Both of them. I was actually taking a family photo. We were doing family photos Wednesday night, and as we're getting set up for the photos,
I didn't get the invite.
I just turned. My bad. I'll see you next time.
Damn, man.
Pete, I got you too. I look at the TV like, dude, it's a 4-point game. The Knicks and Celtics. So you're right. Both of those players up 2-0.
I know where you're going with this. I'm just trying to drag it out longer for some reason.
Well, Pete's saying I'm ready to hit play because here, do not accuse Triple H of not booking long term. Oh no, not this clip. This is Paul Heyman crashing out. We got more on that coming up later. This clip.
Oh no! Jalen, don't do this! There's no turning back!
That's Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton when the Knicks and the Pacers in a WWE ring.
Yeah,
last year.
This was on SmackDown courtesy of WWE.
Yeah.
Somebody get the commissioner on the phone.
So we're doing.
Your favorite play-by-play announcer, Corey Graves, on commentary.
Let it breathe.
Unfortunately, it appears.
Now, we're letting this play out because watch Halliburton.
For the great city of New York.
They're in New York, by the way.
The New York Knicks.
LA Knight steps in there.
Halliburton being the bigger man. These people don't deserve it.
Well, hey, respect to Jalen Brunson
Wait,
for stepping up when he had to.
That man was ready to throw down.
So one of the things that Halliburton did in this clip. All right, we can stop it right there. Thank you, Pete. Courtesy WWE. One of the things that he did, looked at the New York Knicks fans. You don't mean nothing to me. Heel heat.
He's got
What did he do at the end of the Cavs game?
he's got Miz balls.
Man, heel heat.
Big balls. Big.
Don't tell me we can't cover more than wrestling, but this is a wrestling podcast, and this is what we do. Sweet moment of the week coming up. A lot of stuff. I didn't even tell you about the last thing on the rapid fire thing. You got to see this.
Oh, man. What?
Yeah.
How is that even possible right now? Before?
No. No.
Oh, is it on
Stuff
Twitter?
went down on Twitter today.
Oh, God. I can see Javon talking about Sam.
Woo!
Is that what it was?
Yes. Yes. We have the tweet. Kyle hasn't even seen it yet.
Well, she is the bomb.
So we.
Shorty want him.
Man, that song hit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
You love that. I know you do.
Man,
That's a throwback. That's some like neo soul. Like it's
we have a ton to get to.
wild.
Man, here we go. So I want to first off thank Rebecca. Rebecca's gonna get photo or not photo cred, but a little bit of producer cred on this episode
Today.
today.
Say Rebecca Quinn.
My Rebecca's going to get producer cred a little bit because she sent me Rebecca Quinn's photo. It was actually Lyra's Twitter.
Oh, boy.
From December 22nd,
2018.
2018.
In
My
Dublin.
grandma's birthday, by the way.
How about that?
December 22nd, 2018. Obviously, Becky Lynch, inspiration.
Was she at the
leader?
Was she at the height of her powers yet? I think 2019 was when she really peaked.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she was like full on. But this was probably
This
close.
was when Becky was trying to break the glass ceiling, but she wasn't consistently getting on television.
But this was after Survivor Series, right? This was when she had the face with
No,
Nia.
that was the year after.
Was
that
it?
was 2019.
Okay, I forget what year she had.
2018, she was just trying to get on television.
Interesting.
And Charlotte Flair was all over TV. So, man, leadership is there. Now, the reason why this is the BA Sweet Moment of the Week. Fast forward 7 years later.
Yeah. Listen, the past 2 weeks, like Lyra's just been hitting everything. There's been no misses, which unfortunately means she's probably going to lose her title. But like,
I don't know anymore.
You don't, but I mean,
I don't know.
It almost
man.
feels like she needs to be in a feud with Io. That's how good she's been. Like she needs to be going for the top title. Becky can take this title and do her thing, but Io is looking for that next challenger. I know they have the thing with the tag teams now, and with Rhea and obviously Roxanne and Julia are kind of placeholding that until I imagine Liv and Raquel get back. But I mean, I don't know. She's been unbelievable in this role, and given the opportunity and time, she's outshined Becky Lynch. She's looked better on the mic. She's looked better physically. And it's just, you see it on a week in, week out basis now. When Lyra's given an opportunity to speak and to have extended periods of time on TV, there's a reason why she wasn't one of the releases now. People were kind of wondering, like, how come Lyra wasn't one of those? Like, she kind of was, like, middling around a little bit for a while until she won the IC title. And even then, what was she doing?
Right.
It kind of felt like she was champion, but, like, does it really matter? Is it going to be like the women's tag team thing again where, like, they're releasing all these
anytime
teams?
that she was allowed to talk, it wasn't on the main show. It was always doing a commercial, especially during the Netflix time. It was always either commercial
backstage segments.
Backstage or social media.
Not in front of the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
but they've let this build a little bit organically, kind of like what they did with LA Knight a little bit, and also what they're doing now with Karrion Kross.
Oh, yeah.
Giving him some time just with the crowd so that he can get over more with them, and then once he gets on TV, he'll have the reaction. It'll feel more viral. But
real quick about Karrion Kross, I didn't send this to the group, but there's a cool video. Karrion Kross submitted a promo to Taz when Taz used to do a radio show like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Taz would have like the promo of the week, whatever, and he would grade the promo, and Karrion Kross said something, and he loved it.
I watched Cross's full documentary from WrestleMania weekend too. Like, he's right there. He's about ready to take the fuck off. It's going to be great to watch him because we've always said too. He's got everything. We did that Let's Fix It episode on him. Like,
I'm so happy we did that now.
It's one of those guys that has a lot of potential, and he's finally starting to turn the corner a little bit. I hope it keeps going all the way around the corner to what could be possibly future world titles and all that stuff. But speaking of someone who's going to have future world titles, I mean, Lyra has shown now, against the best, I can hold my own. I can actually look better than she can. That's not a knock against Becky. Becky's been fine, but Lyra's looked that much better.
Well, you know what? I think I'm with you on what you're saying here. I'm going to give you a first take. I hate that show.
A first take?
But I'm going to give you a first take kind of question here.
Okay.
I think about this feud.
Mm-hmm.
I think about, man, everything that's gone right with this feud in terms of the 4 horsewoman veteran against a younger talent who's basically like, hey, go out there, sink or swim.
Yep.
Everything that's going right in this feud went wrong with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.
It did.
Like, I mean, night and day.
Yeah.
Night and day.
One rose and one kind of. I don't think Tiffany.
But I'm talking about, like, the entire feud. I don't mean just Tiffany.
Yeah. Well, Tiffany had to step up, and she did enough to get through it. And she's.
And this is why I do credit Becky, because these last 2 weeks, she's been coming with it strong, too.
Yep.
And Becky, you better be able to, hang your head on the microphone. You better be there.
She's not going to let you. Like, it's going to be like, hey, yeah, we've had some things we are scripted to say, but, like, I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
like,
it's relentless.
I'm going to keep pressuring you, and you got to be able to step up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have faith in you. We're working together, all that stuff. But, like, you have to be able to rise to the occasion. And where Tiffany felt like maybe she had to try and save it with something major, something that was going to pull it because people were not into that feud. This feels more like it's a collaboration. It's collaboratory, but it's also like we're trying to one-up each other still. And there's obviously more history with them.
Well,
but I mean,
and that's the thing. We talk about it all the time. The story, the backstory. Where does it all come from?
Yeah.
Even I didn't even know about this, but the fact that my Rebecca had the interest to go back and find this, like to set up this type of feud, like this is.
But it's built in, and they do a cool thing with this where Lyra still credits Becky for her accomplishments, but says you had your time.
Yeah.
Now it's mine, and here's the proof. Like it's literally in front of you. You can see it. You saw what Becky did over the past 5 to 10 years of scratching and clawing, finally getting to that mountaintop, being there for a while, and has kind of now been on the downslope as far as her popularity, but still has that name, still has that ability, and wants to prove herself again. You kind of find yourself pulling for both. And again, she's justified. Becky is. We talked about this before with the Bayley thing. Like, there is a reason for what she did. Maybe not as much with Lyra, but she's letting Bayley cloud her judgment with Lyra too, to the point now where I'm turning on people that I actually care about because Bayley influenced you. It's all about Bayley. And for people that were upset about her not being on WrestleMania, don't worry, she's going to be in a huge program with her, probably going into SummerSlam, I'd imagine, because that's going to be maybe one of the last times we're going to see those two together. I imagine Bayley's probably on the way out at some point in the next couple years, either from wrestling in general or from WWE. But enjoy it, because this is really good storytelling, and it actually makes sense.
I know we weren't planning on doing backlash predictions, but I do have to say, because of the Bayley distraction and Becky, the judgment, it's just there. I think Lyra's retaining. I think, like, and again, it's a lot of it's just because she has really shown out here. I think that's part of it. The other part, there's like 3 major events in the next like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So you can always run it back. But I think for a couple reasons. At some point, we're going to get some NXT call-ups.
Well, technically, Roxanne and Julia are already.
I know
they're still calling them NXT, but they've been on Raw every week for the past like 4 weeks.
Right,
Like, they're here. Like,
but I think one of them, once they move off of whatever's going on with them in Io Sky, could be coming after this championship, and then eventually you break off Becky and Bayley. Becky and Bayley does not need the IC championship.
It doesn't, but it'd kind of be cool to have.
I know it would be cool, but I would like to see Lyra really, if you really want to put her over, take out Becky. And you can have the excuse that Becky was focused on Bayley, but because she's focused on Bayley, take her out.
Is it possible?
Actually prove that, hey, you are that it girl.
Is it possible that Bayley comes back at Backlash and accidentally costs Lyra the championship by some way, not intentional? We've seen that before, the unintentional distraction trying to help Lyra, but ends up backfiring. And that leads to Lyra kind of going off on her own, like, tweener type thing, because she showed the personality to be able to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe that gets her to the next stratosphere, because I see Lyra more as, like, hey, future Money in the Bank winner. She should be in the championship picture, the main title, especially against EO. That's a really good matchup with those two. They can both wrestle very well. Like, that stands out to me. Lyra has shown now she can carry a program on the mic. She'd need to do that with EO. Because EO just points at herself and she gets over.
I'm gonna throw a bomb at you, and you better deflect and defuse.
Yeah, throw a Samantha the bomb at me. Shorty wanna?
Shorty wanna? Hey, if we sing another lyric, we're done.
We're already fucking. When we play the clip later, we're gonna get.
What if Bayley came back tomorrow night? She has issues with Becky. It'll be addressed. What if she came back, threw hands at Lyra, completely turned herself?
That was, I think, the original plan.
Because Bayley can come out and say, wait a minute. I get taken out at WrestleMania. I missed my WrestleMania dreams. Maybe Becky was right. I missed out on my WrestleMania dreams, and you just went ahead and you just tagged with somebody else. No problem. Where were you? Where were you? And maybe you do get the veterans overstaying their welcome. Becky and Bayley, even though they have beef with each other, they have mutual respect for each other, whereas they don't have respect for Lyra in terms of the story. That's a bomb. I don't know if that would happen.
I think if you're looking forward to a SummerSlam program because it's in August, you could definitely go that route and have like a short-term couple months. But I mean, short-term alliance with those two, especially because right now the women's tag titles, they released all these talent, which we're going to talk about later. But I mean, like, a lot of them were in women's tag teams. So what are they going to do with
what
that?
now? And what do you value more? 'Cause I don't know if we've ever been at a point, I'm probably wrong in the statement, where a singles women's championship and a tag team women's championship at the same time has been higher priority. It's either been one or the other. And in most cases, the singles championships have been more of a priority than tag team championships.
Well, right now, the tag titles, we don't know what the fuck they're going to do. They don't have any women's tag teams on the roster. Asuka and Kairi are still out.
And there was no problem because Liv's going to film in a movie. They didn't strip them of the championships.
Well, she's going to be back next week.
I know, but
a week off, it shouldn't be a strip yet.
But that wasn't even a consideration because, like, who are you going to give it to?
Exactly. Unfortunately, they probably, and this may not be popular because I've been adamant that they needed these mid-card titles, but they probably should just get rid of them.
No.
How many? There's what, maybe 2 women's tag teams total on the entire roster, including NXT? Like, that's...
Again,
they haven't built up the division. I mean,
once you get more NXT people up, you need those titles.
Well, you're just throwing people together, though, at that point. Like, there's no actual teams. Like, the 2 of the superstars ever released were really the only real tag team.
Oh, you're talking about tag. Are you talking about getting rid of the tag team championships?
Yeah, no, you're keeping those titles. The mid-card titles are staying.
No, I thought you meant the U.S. championship.
No, those stay.
Okay.
The tag titles
they just
are
came
like,
in.
No, not at all. No, those are perfect because like those are launching point for someone like Lyra, like Chelsea Green, like honestly Zelina. If she can keep that and roll with it, we'll see. But I mean, like,
you see her photo shoot, by the way, Zelina.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It was probably great.
It was great.
Shocker! All the women in WWE are beautiful, and a lot of the women in AEW are beautiful too.
That is true.
That is correct.
Up next, we talk. No, I can't
not
make
yet.
that joke. I cannot make that joke.
We're not talking about that yet.
Our sweet moment of the week. We got to move on, but sweet moment of the week, Lyra. 2 weeks in a row on fire. On Monday nights, some of the best parts.
Blue Flame.
Yeah. Finding her voice. And you could also find your voice, or maybe not.
They found their voice 75 years ago, and they're still talking loud and proud here in Northeast Ohio. BA Sweeties, you love when I can do that shit. That's why we're top 5 podcast of the year over on Cleveland City. Because of stuff like this.
Yes.
It's almost like we've been doing this for 15 damn years. But nevertheless, that's my mispromo.
Instead, only 15 damn months.
I'll tell you what, 15 is a sweet number, and so is BA Sweeties. Don't take our word for it. Take a look.
Double A Anthony Alfred here for Sweeties. You know they're for candy, but did you know that they're a major popcorn manufacturer? Their brands are sold in every grocery store in Northeast Ohio. Want to talk about the varieties? They have 30 of them. of gourmet popcorn under the Campbell's and All-American brands right here in their industrial kitchen on the Brook Park Road campus. The famous Humphrey popcorn balls and Olympia popcorn is made in Strongsville. Talk about fresh. Stop in at the Brook Park Road store or Sweetie's Olympia Treats in Strongsville for the freshest, best-tasting popcorn anywhere. Full disclosure, I'm very hungry. And
Starving.
I'm starving. That commercial. I don't know if I would make it through the rest of the show.
You'll be.
I was just looking at the candies. I'm looking at the large warehouse, basically, that they have at BA Sweeties. I'm thinking about Golfland. I'm thinking about the concessions that they're going to put at Golfland this year for the first time. I'm thinking about all the different ice cream, homemade ice cream flavors that they have. Over 30 flavors of homemade ice cream. And man, they have some damn good milkshakes. Thinking about those, too.
Their milkshakes bring all the girls to the yard. And boys, too.
And boys.
And the boys, too.
They bring families to the yard.
And they do say it's better than yours.
Yes, that's right.
Damn right.
Damn right.
It's better than yours.
At BA Sweeties.
They can teach you, but they do have to charge you a little bit. But, I mean, hey, it's competitive pricing. It's great. Obviously, they're taking care of you guys. We talked to Tom about this, too, the last time we were there for our last live remote. Like, it's a balancing act, trying to make sure he keeps the prices fair while also making sure they can make some money because they've been around for 75 years. They have to be consistent with that, but they also want to make sure they're giving back to you, the consumer. So, as Double I mentioned, this is your one-stop shop for all things sweets and a little bit more, too, a little bit of special stuff going on, especially with the warmer weather finally coming through. I can tell because my allergies have been fucked, but nevertheless, my eyes are watering.
You're not on your own there. Yeah.
My eyes are watering coming in, and it's not just because I watched AEW last night. Like it's a full-on hellscape outside. But if you want some release from that and you want to enjoy the nice weather and some really great candy, some great options, the whole 9 yards, BA Sweeties is the place to go. 6770 Brook Park Road in Cleveland, Ohio. 44129 is the zip code if you're typing it into your GPS. The Ridge Road exit off of I-480.
There you go. Giant lollipop. If you see the giant lollipop, please send it over to Paul Heyman. Dude.
I don't know. I think his blood sugar is high in this picture. I don't know, man.
I heard Bubba Ray on Busted Open talk about like a past encounter that he had with Paul Heyman, and he saw like that.
Well, Bubba's been around with Paul since the beginning.
I know.
Since ECW.
I loved every bit of it. If you missed this promo, I'm sorry. This was amazing. We're not going to play the full thing. We're going to play a good chunk of it here because for those who are still a little bit upset, I know fans typically move on from things more than, active talent.
Mm-hmm.
I know there are some wrestlers who were really upset about The Rock's appearance on Pat McAfee and, basically the way he was. Hey, this is what's happening. All work, fake. It's all there. Paul Heyman, if you needed a summary of the last year of the Bloodline story, he cleaned up the loose ends. So take a listen. And, man, if you're a video watcher, viewer, this is your treat to watch the show. Because not only you get to hear it, but you get to see Paul Heyman crash it out, courtesy of WWE.
I found a stray big dog on the island of irrelevancy, and I turned him into the tribal chief and the ruler of the WWE Universe. We were the undisputed WWE champion for 1,316 days, and I'm not the one that blew it by getting beat by Cody Rhodes after being distracted by Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. He lost the title. He lost the title that I spent 5 years of my life building him up as the champion. And then what did he do? He disappears. He goes back to being a big dog licking his big wounds and leaves me in the hands of Solo and Jacob Fatu and those Tongans who put me through a table in Madison Square Garden and almost ended my 40-year career. And he didn't come back to avenge me. He came back to get his Ula Fala back.
Is Ula Falafel?
But I betrayed Roman Reigns, right? I betrayed Roman Reigns, who couldn't handle the fact they just wanted to help my best friend live out his dream. No, it's always Paul Heyman. I'm always the liar. I'm always at fault. I'm the betrayer. I'm the double crosser. I'm always the freaking scumbag in this situation. Not this time. I'm right. I'm right. I'm in the right.
What an Emmy-worthy performance from Paul Heyman.
I just want to say nobody on this show has ever crashed out like that.
And there's the meme.
You know, that was
Holy crap.
the interaction you just heard and saw there. That was me crashing out to Jacob, explaining the Rock situation while he's trying to focus on the Cavs.
Yeah, like you just a little over a week removed from your crash out. I mean, anytime we talk about a certain promotion, it usually ends up being me. Even though I try to go in level-headed, but I somehow end with a vein popping out the side of my head. But nevertheless,
The best, again, we could play all of it, but my favorite part of the promo was actually right after that happened. Jey Uso, he's like,
you good?
"You good?" He's standing there. He's standing. It's the pose too. He's just like, "You good?
Oh, gee, man, you good?
You good?" Matter of fact, what this got to do with me?
Hey, Paul needed some time. He had to get it out. And it's obviously all tied together because of
Even the Jay part, and we're not even talking about the actual reason why he was out there.
Yeah.
About bringing Jay into that into that championship match. Jay's is a big part of the story of the Bloodline story. Is anything, even though he left.
and he's obviously got the one thing Seth wants. I'm glad they established that in this show without actually giving. I thought Jay was losing the title. Like, I was nervous.
I loved everything about how that was booked. I loved everything about Monday night
And
with that story.
it does finally open up. They're going to need a third person because now it's Sammy, it's CM Punk who's back because CM Punk doesn't take vacations like Roman does. And Jay, who is going to be that third person to join Braun.
Can I
And
ask you
Seth
something
Rollins.
real quick? And then we'll get back to this. Who's going to work more dates this year? John Cena or Roman Reigns?
Oh, Cena.
And it's not even close.
Well, because Cena has guaranteed he's going to be there for 36 dates or whatever it was.
I'm-
Roman is going to work maybe double digits. And I think he's probably pretty. I shouldn't say that. Roman will probably get like 20, 25 dates in this year, I think.
20 is probably the high end in my
I'm
opinion.
taking previous dates where he's already shown up.
Okay.
Because he's been there. I think he's probably showed up 10 times at least. I would
Yeah.
think. So he's going to be
When
off.
he's in a story, he shows up, we'll say 4 out of 6 weeks he shows up.
SummerSlam is 2 nights. He'll have a match at SummerSlam.
Mhm.
I can guarantee you that.
Match at SummerSlam.
It'll be against Jay. It'll be against John. One of those guys. Whoever.
Probably Survivor Series again. He'll
He'll be in the
Bloodline.
War Games match.
Mhm.
I imagine Team whoever versus Team whoever.
Mhm.
He'll be in one of those teams. Maybe it's Team Roman on one of the sides. I don't know, but I mean he'll be involved. I'd imagine. Do they have a Saudi show this year?
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they're going overseas.
They have the Australia show.
The show in October.
That's Crown Jewel is in Australia this year.
Yeah, so they're not.
So
going
he'll do the Crown Jewel show.
Mhm.
Cena's there. Maybe that's a Cena match. Him and Cena at Crown Jewel.
Cena's
who knows?
already promoted.
Yeah.
To be at that show.
Yeah. So I mean, but this was full circle back to this. I mean, that's Paul Heyman. We know this is what he does. He delivers unbelievable promos. Possibly the best person on the mic, regardless of manager or talent
Mhm.
in the industry right now.
Because this is the Mike Fabert promo of the week. What made this promo a great promo?
It's real. We all saw it. Even if you're a casual fan in WWE, there's a pretty good chance over the past 4 to 5 years, you watched interactions with Heyman and Roman Reigns because that was the program. The Bloodline was the story. It's been possibly the best story they've written ever because of the longevity and for what they did with it. And it seems like obviously we're on the end of it now and they're moving on to other things. But I mean, you knew the relationship with those two. It's been all over the place. You've probably seen it at some point. Most people most casual fans, because he does draw that. CM Punk, they know his relationship with Paul Heyman. It's been in mainstream and in wrestling world, so to speak. So you see that. You understand the relationship they have. So when Paul says this kind of stuff, and you catch it, whether it's watching the show, whether it's a clip on YouTube, social media, whatever, fuck, he's got a point.
I know.
Like, he said a lot of stuff, and this is where I said with Becky, too, with the Bayley thing. Bayley was beating on her for years and years and years. Paul getting used by Roman for years and years and years. CM Punk using him since he came back. Like, literally, I mean, there you can see all of the connections, and he has a justified reason to be like, fuck both these guys.
You know, something just clicked in my head as you were talking. You notice near the beginning of the promo, he kept saying, we were the WWE Undisputed Champion for 1,000 whatever days.
Yeah.
I did not lose the championship. I was not the one that was distracted and blew it. I took the dog. I took, out of the
stray big dog.
Yeah.
Island of irrelevancy.
And I made him the tribal chief. For 5 years, Paul Heyman never made it about himself. Never.
He always was loyal.
Never made it about himself.
He was always, you, my tribal chief.
Until this past Monday.
Yeah, he got pissed off. It shows even the people that are the closest to you at some point can get a little tired about being used and being, it's rooted in reality.
And it made sense. The story made sense because you think about it. Yeah, Paul Heyman needed help after what happened with him at Madison Square Garden a year ago with Solo and Jacob Fatu. He needed help. All Roman had to do was show up. Never showed up. All right, I do have my best friend. Despite everything that's gone on in professional wrestling, in the world of wrestling, I have my best friend, CM Punk, who has always been loyal to me. Now he's using me?
But he didn't talk to me for 10 years.
He didn't talk? That's a great point.
He left in 2014, and it's been documented now. They didn't speak.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like, and it's Paul, like, shooting. He's like, we just didn't talk. Like,
and I do like how Triple H subtly sprinkles in, there are consequences for not talking to people for 10 years.
It's my best friend in the world, right? He's my best friend, but he didn't speak to me for a decade. Like, that can weigh in a relationship. Even if you can get past it, which they did, like, it's tough, man, to not talk to another person you consider a huge part of your life for that long. Maybe on one side, Punk's obviously going through his own shit with WWE, off with the MMA stuff, whatever. He's going through a lot. But for Paul, who was here the entire time,
you didn't pick up the phone.
No, like, and
you didn't.
And obviously, it's a two-way street. We don't know how often Paul tried to reach out. I'm sure he did at some point. Maybe they had brief things here or there, but like, they didn't have that connection for so long.
You know what? What I've learned about adulthood, just in general, it is scary how much time you can go without talking to somebody.
And
it is scary.
And the sad part is too, like, yeah, you can catch up like you didn't miss talking, and that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
When Punk came back at Survivor Series, he probably met up with Paul. They talked probably for a couple hours.
The thing that blows my mind about us being nominated for the best sports podcast on Cleveland scene of all places, the thing that blows my mind was that 10 years ago we met in broadcasting school, and now we're up for that award. Our buddy Eli, who was in studio for the watch party for WrestleMania, he's up for Best Hip Hop Artist.
Which I voted for him as well.
Which is, again, and all three of us, we worked with guys like Robert Zicki and many others. We started 10 years ago in this. And, like, you can go months without talking to people, and then you just pick up like nothing happened. But, again, you talked about 10 years with CM Punk not being in WWE. 10 years of basically taking a relationship with Paul Heyman for granted. Paul Heyman was cool with it for a long time, and then finally he saw the light this past January.
Well, he's like, hey, I'm really excited we're finally back together. I know you had circumstances why we couldn't talk, and you had a lot you had to get through, but I'm happy you're here now. And now that you're back, now you're using me. It's not just you're just my friend.
Yeah.
Now you're using me for these favors and these moments.
And he was cool with one favor.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I got you. One favor. 2, okay. 3. Oh, you want more?
Yeah.
Come on.
It snowballed into one favor, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, that kind of stuff. Oh, it's all attached to this favor, though. Okay, like
I gave you the main event of WrestleMania.
I got
no,
your
I
spot.
really wanted night 2 of the main event. Not.
You probably should have said that.
I know. You know what? That might be a line you might hear down the road.
Who knows? Like, yeah, you got me there, but you didn't really get me all the way there.
Mhm.
Like, which who knows what's gonna happen?
And it's something that I said. I'm like, do we consider the night 1 WrestleMania main event to be the main event? I love hearing the star. It might be backstage thing. I love hearing the stars saying, "No, actually, my real goal is night 2."
You want to be the
It's
last
a stepping
thing.
stone. It's
Yeah.
a great thing to do. But then night 2.
Finding ways to add to your resume because everything's going to 2 nights now as far as these big shows. I mean, like it's important. So I mean, I get it, but yeah, I'm sure the ultimate goal, you want to be the last thing people see. You want to be, hey, we saved the best for last. It's the old analogy. That's what you want.
To put a bow on this, as far as Paul, Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins, in my opinion, a much better week 2 than week 1.
Yeah.
I think, and you were right on it. I think there was a bit of a misfire. I'm not going to say huge, but a bit of a misfire with Sami Zayn, that angle last week. When you jump ahead and say, man, we're going to give away a world championship match, it could lead to bad places. But we kind of lucked out a little bit. A hot crowd.
Yeah.
And almost like that crowd on Monday, nuts.
Hey, middle of the country. They love to see it.
Right?
And then, like we saw, the other promotion is having a world championship match next week with no real consequences for their future.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this company did one, surprisingly, on a night in between pay-per-views or before their pay-per-view, whatever, with the consequences of now we know the direction of where this is going to go at some point. This was the precursor to get them on that path, whereas the other company is like, we have a pay-per-view in 3 weeks, but we need to make every show feel like it's the biggest show ever. Let's have a championship match. Let's just do it. Who cares? Let's just do it. Like you'll see in a little bit the difference in storytelling and why one company is still doing really well and the other company is, even by their own fans' admissions, not as where they were before.
My favorite promo of the week, Paul Heyman, Crash It Out. We do promise you do not need to crash out to have a great promo. And but Paul,
real emotion like that,
yeah.
People call it crashing out, like, because that's popular nowadays. But that's a guy just venting.
Yeah,
like he hasn't been able to do it. He's given Seth kind of the front. Obviously, Seth's the leader of this new group now, so he's let Seth kind of take the reins. No pun intended. But I mean, this is an opportunity for Paul to get some of this shit out because he's been taking some shit for what he did.
Or these are Browns fans every Monday morning.
Shit, now they're Cavs fans.
Oh, yeah.
What time did the Guardians play? Like,
this was me. What was it? Tuesday night when we blew that 7-point lead with a minute to go. That was me Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Just sitting there.
I could see it.
Kyle and Pete. I sat there. I stared at the TV for 30 minutes.
As soon as Halliburton missed the free throw and got his rebound, I knew it was over.
I knew it.
Yep.
Same thing.
When they switched on Ty Jerome and he did not run him off the 3-point line and try to play the drive up to.
Why?
Dumb.
Stupid.
It's bad mental mistake.
You know what's not stupid? This guy.
He's like Tyrese Halliburton. He's got big balls, and he can help you out when it comes to any insurance need you have. Mike is honestly the best of the best here in Northeast Ohio. He's on the east side, but trust me, you can get him anywhere here. The website, myfabertagent.com, Fabert agent.com. The phone number for all audio listeners is 216-932-6900. I'll tell you what, any of your insurance needs, home insurance, life insurance, which is a big one now too, obviously your auto, pet insurance.
Pet insurance, baby.
He's got that pet iguana at home. What can I get insured? How can I get insured? You can ask Mike. He's got your back with that. And if you are antisocial and you don't like talking to people, Mike loves talking to people. But if you don't like talking to people, you can go right to that website we just mentioned, myfabertagent.com. Get a quote right on the website, delivered straight to you.
And he makes you feel comfortable, too. I know sometimes that could be the issue, too. Like, I'm good. He makes you feel comfortable. Him and his entire team, they do a lot of
talking to Mike's
cool
like wearing
things.
a big Snuggie.
You're not going to see that in this commercial, but you'll physically see Mike and Kyle and me in this commercial.
Well, partially me.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time, hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you, what should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've I said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible. I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
well, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
Mike from State Farm, he's going to take care of you. The claims adjuster,
Yeah.
who
Is
2 weeks from today,
Is he on the card? Do we know yet?
I don't know yet.
It's a mystery.
I don't know.
It's a riddle wrapped in a mystery.
He was putting up a video that was like,
He's still
man,
training.
hold up. He put up, I might call Mike up. We might call Mike up like next week.
Yeah.
Mike
Check in.
put up a video
No.
of him
I don't have social media.
slapping Brandon Beretta from not the last show, but 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Shit.
man.
Is Mike going to get involved in that main event?
Oh, no, man. This is the main event. Undefeated Brandon Beretta versus Dante Casanova for the NWA Midwest Championship. That's the main event. Oh, boy. I'm not speaking storylines into existence. I'm just questioning why you put that video up. Streets are talking. People want to know.
The streets are talking.
Streets are talking.
You got your ear to the ground.
I got right there. We'll be there May 23rd, Friday. It is a Friday night card, so after work, after you're like, man, I'm done. After you're about to crash out.
And it's Memorial Day weekend, too.
Yeah.
So you get a chance to really kick your weekend off with some awesome local wrestling. And, yeah, we're excited, man. Still working to try and get Brandon to pop in. He's a hard man to get a hold of.
I wouldn't even mind in a champion, Dante Casanova. Great guy.
Oh, great
Great
dude.
representative.
Great dude.
Think about the lineage of the Midwest Championship just in the last year. Winning that championship from Pretty Boy Smooth,
Yeah.
who's a big dude in his own right.
He's also kind of hanging out in this scene, too. Like, hey, when is he going to try and put his stake his claim to get that title back?
Oh, I have to mention as well, because it is May 9th, tomorrow, La Princesa is going to be in action. She's going to face Charmel.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be tomorrow.
You have to say it because you're still on her shit list.
Check, got that off. But that's tomorrow. Check your local listings for where you can watch the match. But that's tomorrow.
Making her comeback into the ring.
Ooh,
Queen Charmel.
man. Charmel, that was her and Booker T. Yeah, they're married now. But, man.
King of Booker.
Those SmackDowns, man, it was crazy. Crazy.
Ugh.
Got to go. Boys are back in town. Covered up. There's La Princesa right up there.
She'll be on the card.
Yeah, she'll be there.
She'll be.
Defending her women's championship.
Do we know against who?
Very curious to see who. We do not know yet.
Ooh.
Her Pero will be there, too.
Pero.
Yeah.
Which he thinks means handsome, but I've tried to tell him multiple times, dude.
It doesn't work.
I need you to get Rosetta Stone.
It doesn't
Like,
work.
I need you to get Duolingo or whatever it is and just figure it out.
All right, here's what I'm going to do because it's time for the next segment. I have to use the bathroom.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I have to use the restroom.
You don't get to leave. You get to sit here.
But-
If I got to talk about it, you got to fucking listen. Don't you dare cop out.
I can listen.
We can take our break now. And you can go to the bathroom, and your ass is going to come back and sit down because you made me watch this show, so you're going to listen to what I have to say.
Pete, are we able to take the commercial? You want to do that, or we gotta wait? Do I have to wait?
Yeah,
I have to use
let's go to break. He can go potty.
Because it's gonna be a minute. It's the number one. It's not serious, but
You
I have
tell
to go.
them. Yeah, they don't need to know what your body's going through. All
We'll be right back after these messages. Tom, do you know where everything is here in this store?
No.
Okay.
In a general idea, I do, but I can't tell you how many times my office is on the floor of the store,
Right.
and my door is always open. All our managers' doors are always open if they're there. So if any customer has a question or whatever, if they can't find an employee, stock guy or whatever on the floor, they can just, hey, where's this at? So I can't tell you how many times a customer would come in and say, can you tell me where sugar-free candy is? And I'll say 12N. No, I say no, 12S. Yeah. Okay, thank you. And it says it's right down. Go down this way because you're in aisle 7 now. 5 more aisles or whatever. And then I'll think about it after they leave, and I'm like, oh man, I told them the wrong aisle. It's aisle 13.
What should fans who might be watching you here in Cleveland for the first time? Hey, they look you up on the website, on the app, they call you. What should they expect?
Yeah, I mean, first off, between me and my team, you're going to get one of us. If you want to deal directly with the man, you're more than welcome to. I don't mind. I love working with customers because I look at it this way. I have a lot of good life experience financially. I've said 12 years of banking. I've got now 2.5 years of insurance. I have a lot of money and just kind of life and financial stuff knowledge. So that's what I look to do, is to truly help people get from that point A to point B financially. It's not about just, saving money on auto insurance, sure, but if I can kind of turn that into a better discussion, really help people understand what actually insurance does, why it's important, because it's not a tangible. I joke when I leave that I lock the office door so no one steals all the insurance, but there's not just insurance laying around. So there's just it's kind of a mystery kind of component in people's lives that they think is a scam and all the different things you hear. It's not. It can feel like it sometimes. I'm not even going to say that it doesn't, but if you understand how it works and understand and have a person who you can go to help with those kind of situations, that's what we're here to do. That's what my team's here to do. That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I take a lot of pride and have a lot of passion in, obviously, as you can probably tell. So,
Well, I know you said the joke, hey, we lock the door so no one steals the insurance, but it's exactly right.
Small business owners are superheroes, but nowadays running your business means doing so inside your shop and on social media. That's why you should make Omega Video Marketing your sidekick. With a decade of content creation experience, I create dynamic, informative, and fun videos for your specific social needs that will increase brand awareness, get you more followers, and keep your social pages and websites current and fresh. I offer flexible pricing and turn times and will work with you to understand your brand and your story. All of that comes from the heart. My award-winning expertise is just the cherry on top. So let's get connected. After all, your brand is the alpha and my expertise is the omega.
I want to make a quick note about Omega Video Marketing. We'll get to Kyle's Dynamite thoughts in just a moment.
Do we have to?
But we're going to send out a sponsorship spotlight over the weekend on our Facebook page, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast with Double A and Kyle. Her business, first of all, this story is amazing. Number one, Megan's company is a business. And I remember we had the conversation with her like, oh, she applied for the LLC and she got it. It was crazy. But it is an official business. The fact that social media, you're a business owner, you're a social media influencer, it's tough in these streets.
And you got your ear down to the
I
pavement.
got my ear to the post. Sometimes it's tough in these streets to.
Double A goes to that one barbershop, and he knows that everyone's
Man, listen. One person, one shop, 3 barbers, hundreds and hundreds of storylines.
I thought you were going to say Lakers in 5 after that.
Lakers in 5. Well, Shannon, I'm sorry. Back to this. We're going to go. How the heck were we nominated? Anywho.
Why are you clapping?
I don't know. I'm trying to get myself back on track, and I can't. But Megan Gallagher will get you on track with your social media, your business growth as well. Omega Video Marketing, MeganRG440 at gmail.com. And what she does as well, she even sent out a survey to you with detailed questions. even detailed questions in terms of, and like the one I was like, wait a minute, what? Do you want a vertical or horizontal video? And there's a reason for every question, so she can put out the best quality videos and promo videos for you.
Oh, it's finding out more about you and your business and kind of what your needs are. It's tailoring her services to exactly what you're looking for, what you're trying to achieve. When you talk about, is it, hey, just trying to get a few more clients? Is it about trying to grow, more on a regional level and trying to get more out there? Is it more about social media and just trying to build your following there and hoping that translates into more people stopping at your business or using the services you have? Megan kind of goes through all those details with even just a simple survey to figure out what your needs really are so she can obviously get you to that next goal.
MeganRG440 at gmail.com. MeganRG440 at gmail.com. Connect with Megan Gallagher, Emmy Award winning producer. Her resume is extensive. Omega Video Marketing. Now, because I had to use the restroom a little bit earlier out of format, disregard these next 5 seconds. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go.
Oh, God.
So, speaking of favors, you owe me a favor since we had to tape a day late.
I'm not doing this again. I just wanted you to know.
I understand that. That's why I wanted to score and deliver on the one favor that you owe me. The one favor
This was the worst.
year.
This was the worst show to do this on. Like we probably should have waited until their go home show, to their pay-per-view, and even then, who the fuck knows if that even matters.
So your homework assignment was to review.
I love being 30 out of school for fucking 10 years and doing homework assignments. This is great.
Your homework assignment was to watch AEW Dynamite from this past week.
Beach Break.
And
every show has to have a fucking name now.
Well, that's next week's show. That was just a graphic that I
Okay,
found.
this one probably had a name too.
And you took it a step further. You went above and beyond. You took notes.
But let me start off by prefacing and saying I thought that I was recording the show because there was no way in hell I was watching this live. Dude, I don't even watch WWE shows live now. I tune in an hour and a half after it starts, and I skip the commercials.
Oh, it's great.
It's so good.
That's how I watch Raw every week now. 8:50, I start.
I still end the show when it ends.
Yeah.
I'm almost watching it live or close to it live when it ends, but I'm able to skip the commercials. It's great. I missed the first half hour of the show.
Well, your grade goes down to a C minus.
Yeah, whatever. Grade on a curve for me, will you? But no, I ended up watching the first promo back with Hangman Page and Will Ospreay. I didn't take notes on it, but I will say that Hangman, something off about him where it doesn't feel genuine. It feels like someone, and this happens in WWE too, it's not just an AEW thing. It feels like someone was told what to say. Ospreay came across a little more independent. He came across a little more, it wasn't just reading bullet points or reading a summary, he had a little more in there. But I sense more of a star, and I think that's probably true in a general term with Will than I do with Page. I know Adam Page is AEW. He's the homegrown guy, right? He's the dude there. But I think Will has obviously a lot more potential. And I imagine eventually that will come to fruition when he wins the match, whenever they're having it. I don't fucking know.
Well, yeah, they're doing the
is that double or nothing?
That's the final of the Owen Hart tournament.
Yeah.
I would imagine Ospreay wins that match, and then he's going to be challenging Jon Moxley for the briefcase. For the championship.
For the fucking briefcase. He gets to open the briefcase and realize that was never in there to begin
That
with.
briefcase should actually be the.
That's fucking wild. So I missed that, and then I missed apparently Anna Jay and Harley Cameron talking about their tits and ass. That's what I missed. I'm not even kidding you. That's what they fucking talked about. I like Harley Cameron a lot. I think she has a lot of potential. She kind of gives me the IC or US title for the women would be a great thing for her if they had. I guess they technically have the TBS or whatever it is, but it's on their top star. So, and she has 4 titles, so she probably can't even keep track of which one. And she wore none of them when she showed up later in the show. But nevertheless, which we'll get into that. But I ended up tuning in to the women's Fatal 4-Way match.
Okay.
It's Toni Storm. It's Anna Jay. I think it's who else was in that match? Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa was in there. Yep.
Which again, I don't know why it was a tag. I mean, they were excited. Toni Storm and she was at the end, even though technically Thunder lost the match.
Yeah.
Because they're a tag, but she's the world champ. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be happy about losing that match and celebrating with the person who wins it, even if she's my friend. I'm pissed because.
But they were chanting Thunder tits.
Of course they were, because it's AEW, and we're all just vulgar for no reason. Listen,
That's coming from this guy.
Yeah, and I've said some shit.
Something.
I like it when there's intent behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess there's not. When Anna Jay and Harley Cameron say that kind of shit, when Tony does it, at least that's her gimmick, and there's only one person.
That's part of her bit.
She's like,
and it flows with who she is as a character.
But even then, like, my God, I put down Megan Bain is interesting. She does carry herself. That some of the spots they did were rough looking, but you can tell this is a step below. And for all, well, it's not the same. You're right, it's not the same. This is essentially a developmental program that has some stars in it because they compete with NXT. That's where that's their real competition. I think she has potential. Megan Bain does. She looks good. She's solid. She carries herself as a bigger.
She has a presence about her.
I get blonde before making and finding herself Rhea Ripley from her. I haven't heard her talk yet, so I can't say that. Rhea obviously is great on the mic too, but I haven't heard her talk. But just initial representation, how she looked, I see that kind of avenue for Megan Bain. I don't like, who did she fight off with? Harley fought her off.
Yeah, Harley. Yeah.
I don't like that. I think, and again, she brought the pipe and didn't use it immediately, which makes no sense. This big badass is in the ring, and you don't use the pipe that you brought down specifically for this big badass until after you come outside of the ring, and that look kind of worked. Not great. And I did put the only one besides Tony that actually felt important looked like Megan. Everybody else in that match, Anna Jay is not. So I'm sorry. I mean, you can date Jungle Boy as much as you want, who wasn't on the show. I think he just magically disappeared, which is good.
That's great.
Unless I missed him in the first half hour. But that first segment was kind of rough. Didn't make a lot of sense. Tony's obviously the main player in all this. But yeah, also 8:30. That's when one of your main champions is on now. She's not leading the show or in the top of the second hour or main eventing.
And I sent you the preview of the write-up that they provide to
it was 2 lines. It was like 2 little tiny little paragraphs that told me nothing about the show. Yeah. And I have an overarching issue with the show later that I'll bring up. And people may say it's WWE framed. But it's in general for someone who misses the first half hour of the program, because not everyone can watch from beginning to end. No replays at all during the show.
Oh, I was going to bring that up to you.
Why?
Nothing
important?
Not only no replays like recapping the show, no replays like after matches.
Well, how about Will Ospreay comes on later in the show and has a promo with MJF? Why not show the initial promo with Hangman Page to keep promoting that battle instead of just having a graphic saying the match is coming up in 2 weeks? Have like a replay of what he said earlier, because he was the opening of your show. He's the biggest star on the show.
Yeah.
That's not a WWE thing. That's just a common sense thing.
It's television.
Yes.
It's television.
Because not everyone can
watch. You're going to get to the Young Bucks thing in a little bit. And even in that match, they had a quick finish. And then, all right, we got to go to the back. Renee Paquette. Like, it's just.
It's all rushed. It feels very rushed.
It's not only rushed. It's like all you need is 10 seconds. Just show a quick replay of the pinfall, how it happened, boom, move on. But, like, oh, it happened. I don't have the energy to like go on my DVR and rewind. I don't care. So
fuck me. Next segment, Hurt Syndicate came out. Hey, look, guys that actually look like they're solid and can beat people up. That was great. And of course, immediately, 2 teams come out that look significantly smaller and that could not hold a candle. Top Flight and Leo Rush and some other weird dude showed up.
They could take on Benjamin Shelton.
They were a combined 5'10", all 4 of them together, and they can take on Shelton Benjamin, who we know is a fucking athlete. And Bobby Lashley, who's an actual Marine. Like, this is that how bad the tag team division is in AEW? Where that's what they have to offer? Fuck. MJF, I put down, had something, but in this spot, he felt small, if that makes sense. Beating up on 2 tiny guys, and then coming in the ring, and Bobby Lashley's supposed to be impressed. Like, I guess their whole story with him is that he's trying to impress Bobby now, because Shelton Benjamin and MVP are on board. They want him in this group. We all know the motive is for MJF to get to the world title, and that's the only reason why he wants to be a part of it.
Right.
But Bobby is the one that's like, no, I don't fucking like. Bobby's the only one with common sense in the group, where he's like, no, I don't. Why? He's just going to use us. What are we getting out of him?
Like he like this is the story. Like this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's
This is what
Bobby
he
and
does.
MJF, and it's going to lead to an eventual match with those two, I'd imagine, for the title when MJF inevitably wins this. But I mean, if I'm Bobby Lashley, you beat up two guys that are tiny that can't even have a 5-minute reasonable match with us.
Yeah.
Why should I care? You heard
Maybe the big thing is eventually the Hurt Syndicate move on without Bobby and I don't know.
I don't know.
I kind of doubt that.
But the story feels weird. Does MJF really need the Hurt Syndicate? He could just pay people. He's done it before. Look at the fucking what was the group he was in? The Pinnacle. He just paid FTR, whoever else is there, to join him in that group. Like it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But whatever. Put down next. Excalibur sucks. His commentary is trash. Like I didn't write that, but I can paraphrase. My God, dude. Tony Schiavone was never an announcer. He was a reporter. He was doing interviews. That's where his strength is. Playing off talent, not just having to talk. I love Taz. Taz feels like he has a muzzle on. If you listen to him during this broadcast, I don't get... Wade Barrett feels like he's more free-thinking than Taz is during this show. Like, what does that say? Taz has been doing this for 20-some years. Announcing.
Yeah. Part of one of the all-time great commentary teams for Michael Cole back.
Also, what the fuck is up with Okada? I don't get what this is the backstage segment with the Young Bucks. Okada, is that the thing now he just calls people bitch and walks away?
That's the bit. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, this is the best wrestler in the world, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Young Bizzles. The Young Bucks called themselves the Young Bizzles. If you're looking to be the young cringe, folks, congratulations. That was awful. I felt people turning the channel when you said Young Bizzles.
Because I was a good friend, I actually did the homework assignment myself too. If it was not for this show, the mere presence of the Young Bucks,
it's
and
awful.
then the outfit, the mere presence, I'm turning the channel for good.
Yeah,
I'm not coming back.
Fast forward.
No, not fast forward. Turning the channel.
I thought about fast forwarding because I had to watch this. Then, of course, they open their locker room door. Their locker room is very lowly lit because they're in a random bingo hall somewhere. But nevertheless, maybe it's an auditorium. I have no clue. But the other most popular group in the entire company, the Death Riders, are inside because if we have two bad acts, let's just put them together and see what happens.
Right.
Fucking stupid. Rhino may get the biggest pop of the night. How about that? In 2025, the year of our Lord, Rhino is getting the highest pop in AEW.
I have to look this up, how old he is.
He's got to be in his 40s, maybe even like late 40s, early 50s.
Because the first thing I thought of Rhino, like, he tore down that set on SmackDown all those years. 49.
Yeah,
he'll turn 50 in October.
How about that? I put down one other note for that segment with Nick Wayne for I think it was the Ring of Honor television title, or was it just a match with Christian Cage being involved? He's the dad, he's the whatever. I put down, what was any of that? Like, Cage put the title around his waist and then took it off and dropped it. It just feels like, what are we doing? I don't understand any of that was. Next up, because I'm just going to gloss through that, was the 6-man tag. It was Swerve and who were Speedball Mike Bailey, who looks like the modern day version of Karate Kid. I think I put that down here at some point. Ralph Macchio is laughing and is not in his grave.
I still need to watch season 6 of Cobra Kai.
I haven't watched any of the seasons, but and then who was the other guy with Mark Briscoe? Briscoe. The best thing about him is his theme music. I get he was over in Ring of Honor, but this isn't Ring of Honor. This is AEW, right? We're supposed to.
Sorry,
I don't know. He's funny. He's the R-Truth of AEW, in my opinion. I don't see the wrestling side of this. Swerve is the only star in this entire match, is what I put.
100% agree. And in my opinion, brought down Swerve.
Yeah. The Bucks and Ricochet were the other team in this match. The Bucks got no reaction. They didn't get booed and they didn't get cheered. People just got quiet. People chanted for Swerve. He carries himself as a star now. He's established himself in this company.
And I give Ricochet credit. At least Ricochet is working hard to establish himself.
But he came out with no reaction either. His entrance music sucks. His gimmick is awful. His is stupid. I get it. You want to try and click on something, but dude, like I said, the Jadakiss reject is not where you need to be right now.
More Ricochet talk, by the way, later in the show.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I put down they have a book coming out because they promoted that during the thing because, of course, the Bucks are the founding fathers of the company.
I forgot about the book.
I wrote this down.
5 years of AEW.
Can't wait to see what they say about Cody in that book. I'm really excited. It's going to be great. The only person that actually made himself out of something in there. It's going to be great. Also put down Ricochet got worse. His work looks like shit. That's unfortunate. I could see why AEW fans like this. It's a crash course of moves.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucks had one move where they super kicked the dude. He bounced up the ropes and they powerbombed him. That was kind of cool. But that also, to me, says that should be going into the finish, not another 15 minutes of a match.
Well, we're going to talk during Rapid Fire. Will Ospreay has some comments this past week. We'll talk about that during Rapid Fire. That kind of ties into what you're talking about.
Also, I put down what the fuck was that house call exchange where Swerve Strickland ate a Canadian destroyer, got right back up, and then kicked the dude in the head. And then he sold.
That's what they do.
Because, a Canadian destroyer where you get spiked on your head, when you had no momentum before that, all of a sudden now you feel like you can do your finish on someone and then crash.
That's what they do.
It's the psychological side. The moves are cool, but it's why. How does this make sense? Well, he's a great athlete. You mean it's something? No.
Gotta let things breathe a little bit.
A little bit. I mean,
it's just a bit.
Now all of a sudden they want to tag. At one point this was a tornado tag team match. Everyone's doing whatever they want. The ref is counting. Not really. I saw him count to 2 one time and then just stop.
Can I see your phone for a second? Just slide it over.
Why?
I'm not gonna lose your spot here. Oh my God!
I took notes.
Oh my God.
I told you. You gave me homework. I'm thorough.
We're gonna bump your C- grade for missing the first segment.
Well, I wanted to make sure I made up for it.
We'll bump it up.
I almost turned it off multiple times.
We'll bump it up to a B+.
So to put a bow on this segment, of course, the Young Bucks win the small package because of all the moves they deliver, a small package is the one that wins the match.
And I missed it because I had to look at my computer for something, and they're like, "Oh, they won," and they said they won, and then no replay. They went to the back. So I have no clue that happened. It's an important storyline thing that's going on their show.
You know what? I think the more I think about this, the more this is people's view of what professional wrestling really is. It's obviously subjective, right? Everyone's got their own view.
Yeah.
But in the purest sense of the word, it is storytelling. Through the ring, on the microphone. Storytelling. Making things make sense.
EC3 and Noah, when they're here, they talked about the moment you go through that curtain, you're telling a story. Triple H.
Yep.
The moment you go through the curtain, you're telling a story. Or in this case, the moment you show up in the parking lot on television, you're telling a story. Every move, you're telling a story.
The problem with AEW is people and their fans think professional wrestling is just doing moves. How cool is your match? As far as moves, not even as far as like getting the crowd into it or storytelling or building on something. It is how many cool moves can you do in 30 minutes? And that's the part where you're losing a lot of casual people because why should they care?
It's like
I can watch gymnastics. I can watch Cirque du Soleil fucking coming down the street twice a year or whatever it is if I want to see someone do crazy acrobatic shit on every single match. Like, it blows my mind they don't get this. But it also doesn't because Tony Khan's writing the show. So
even TNA back in the day in their glory days, they had just the X division. They kept that to that part of the show. And even with the X division, you had credible guys who learned the psychology.
Let's skip forward because this is going to take a while. Unfortunately, this may be one of our longer shows. Next up, you mentioned they go right back to Will Ospreay. He's about to do a segment with Renee Paquette, which is I don't know why she's even doing this anymore. MJF walks up because now he's suddenly branched off into a different universe where he's back to being himself. The only line I really liked was the shampoo line, the shampoo bottle. You're the kind of person that is the reason why there's instructions on a shampoo bottle, so let me spell this out for you. That was great. MJF gets responses from the crowd. Serious MJF is what's needed.
Yeah.
I think he can throw in his jokes but still be serious, and this was great. And I put down Will has potential. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. No pun intended, but he has that chip from Triple H and all that stuff too, and then kind of feeling like maybe he wasn't enough yet, even now.
That's the crazy thing with Will Ospreay. It's just like, if you just, like, hey, take Tony Khan out of it, here's your roster. If Will Ospreay is one of the guys leading my roster,
I feel pretty good about it.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I love that because you're going to get great matches at top. Just bring him in a story.
He'd be right now kind of in where Penta's role is if he was in WWE. Upper mid-card, competing for the mid-card title, and obviously has the ability to cross over into a main event program If
I
things
wouldn't,
go his
I
way.
wouldn't mind hot shotting Will Ospreay in the top of the card.
If I brought him in, I'd make his ass go to NXT.
Oh, screw you!
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'm with the fans that's going to complain about.
Yeah. Well, hey, he needs to learn a different style if he ever goes there. Next up, Jamie Hayter looking like Velma doing a promo backstage because apparently, and she brought up Scooby-Doo characters. So
She actually did.
this was on purpose. You can tell Jamie is losing the match by the way she's talking about Mercedes because why not? Hey, double A question for you.
Answer.
You ever run up on someone and immediately run away?
No.
Yeah, what the fuck was any of that? So Mercedes comes up from behind, gets one shot, not even, pulls her hair a little bit, and then immediately runs away. Not even fighting, not even like a struggle for a couple seconds. She comes up, grabs her hair, and then runs away.
That was very strange. That was very strange.
What fight have you ever been in where you jump somebody for whatever reason, good or bad, and then you immediately ran away? When you surprise them, you jump them.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. Please try. But hey, got to get to the stage somehow, right?
Yeah,
Because the cup's up there. The cup's up. It's for the Owen Hart Cup, the women's cup, right? We have to make sure that we have to get to the stage for the visual. And I also put that weak ass crossface she does. That looks like John Cena's STF in 2012. Well, she's cranking on that bitch with no leverage whatsoever, and this tiny little girl was pulling back on the it's better with the backstabber going into it. That looks better, and then she actually cranks back.
Uh-huh.
Doing it just out of the blue is
Mercedes Renee's been coming along in AEW.
yeah, she's coming along to something that was weak. That was weak as fuck. That was the weirdest fucking. That was almost as weird as the Christian thing. I was like, what is this? What the hell is going on? Jamie Hayter had no fire in the promo.
No.
It was very bland. It was very.
It did convince me
No.
that, she should be the one that beats Mercedes.
She doesn't feel important in that. She feels like she's going to get dogged out, no pun intended, Scooby-Doo reference by Mercedes pretty quickly. But it won't be quick because it's AEW. It will be a 7-hour match. Willow Nightingale was up next. She talked. For all the people saying all they do is wrestle, they had a lot of talking segments on this show.
They did. They knew you were watching.
Yeah, right. But I will say this about Willow. She gives me Bailey NXT vibes.
Interesting.
Like, kind of like that. She feels like the soul of the women's division. She has that personality. She's like kind of one of the anchors of that women's division. but Chris Statlander, ooh, flat. I didn't care. Like, what was she even mad about?
At first, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah. Also pointed out, hey, good to see the talent make the matches. No GM needed. It was just official after Willow said, let's do it. Put someone in charge. It helps. The talent are running the show. This proves my point. Tony's running it as if the talent's running it because the talent is running it.
But sometimes they say, Tony just has to approve it.
No, Tony needs to put someone in charge. They had Christopher Daniels there, and for some reason they decided that wasn't good. I don't know why, but again,
but they'll have their face off. So they're going to have their face off on Collision.
Technically last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's honestly it makes more sense Wednesday, Thursday.
I like that.
The 2 days of WWE.
I'll be honest, I actually like that.
And then make it actually a roster split. If you're really going to buy into that,
Mm-hmm.
put half the roster on one, put half on the other. You could have a different title be the main title. The TNT title was the main title on Collision, and the world title is the main title on.
They have 15,000 titles. Just split it in half.
I would, you have two main card titles, 2 mid card titles, and a tag title.
Speaking of titles, are you going to get to the Continental thing next? Was that next?
It was a challenger match, wasn't it, with Kevin Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I am right now. Okada versus Kevin Knight. Again,
Okay.
Okada's got one of the worst entrances I've ever seen, too. We'll talk about his moveset in a minute.
Guy's a star. Okay.
I said more excited for Rush and Knight than Okada in the ring, just sitting there looking confused. Only this match has no outside interference. Love they have to say that it's a rule and that there's rules only sometimes in WWE. They had to announce, and Excalibur, in his infinite fucking wisdom, had to say there is no interference because it's a rule in the Continental match.
The thing that I didn't understand, I kept, Aubrey Edwards, the ref, kept saying, like, you got to go to the back, got to go to the back.
No outside interference. That's the only match in WWE, the only
AEW.
title. Or, yeah, sorry. No, WWE wouldn't do this stupid shit. But the only match where there is no outside interference allowed. Everyone else can just show up whenever they want.
So the Continental...
It's a built-in rule, I guess, for the title, which I'm sure AEW fans think it makes complete sense,
They
but
had
it doesn't.
a tournament to establish the Continental
Yeah,
Championship.
I can establish my nuts. Better off letting Okada hit one big move and then finish and call it at that point. He got jumped for like 5 minutes by the Rush dude, who looked good. Rush looked good.
Mm-hmm.
He one of the bigger Mexican stars, right? He was a big signing for them when he first came through, and he presents himself like he's a problem, like he's going to be a problem for people, which is, hey, small sample size. I wasn't unimpressed by Rush.
Right.
Kevin Knight looks good, but like that should have been it. Okada's this big star. He's trying to make statements, I guess, for this match with Omega that's going to happen at some point soon. Like, crush him and make it look convincing. I put down, Okada looks bored. Is this his character?
I would be too.
Is this his character not even caring? I thought that was Orange Cassidy's thing, who also wasn't on the show. But I mean, which is good. But I mean, like, what?
I actually thought you missed the opener because you thought Orange Cassidy was going to open the show.
No, I'm good. But like,
No, I would be bored too. You're a world champion caliber wrestler. You're reduced to saying the same lines every week. You can miss the last 6 months of AEW wrestling, come back here and say the same thing.
You just missed him say bitch 10 times. Also, apparently TBS can air middle fingers. There's no issue with that, but Netflix can't let Pat McAfee say fuck one time. So that's great. Also love how a Ripcord short clothesline is the best wrestler in the world's finisher. That looks like shit. That's your finishing move. Like, at least Kenny Omega has a cool looking thing. Like, you know, okay, that's a cool finisher. Some of these guys, like even Swerve.
I'm going to need Kenny Omega to start dressing up like he's a superstar.
Yeah, Swerve with the kick, like that looks good. Like, whether you think it's a good finisher or not, at least it looks good. Sounds good, obviously, because he slaps his leg, whatever. But that clothesline, that's the finishing move. At the end of this, I put down again, God, Excalibur is bad. Dude just cannot call.
No.
He's got knowledge. You can tell he knows a lot about the guys. He does his homework. I can appreciate that. But I can also appreciate that Joe Tessitore is a better announcer than you when it comes to wrestling.
Yeah.
Which isn't saying much. No replays during the show. This is where I brought it up again. I missed the first 30 minutes. It would be nice to get a quick recap in the second hour at least of what the fuck happened when you opened the show.
Nothing.
Especially if it's tying into this huge Owen Cup thing. It's this whole big storyline. It's two of the biggest stars in the company, and Paige and Ospreay. They've got multiple spots on the show, and we don't care enough to show you what happened again.
Even the Mercedes running away angle, you don't show that.
Nothing. Every show has to have a special name because every Dynamite has to feel important. Oh, look, Beach Break in Chicago. Not Fort Lauderdale. Not on the California coast. It's in fucking Chicago is Beach Break. I know they have a lake up there, but let's be honest. It's May in Chicago. It's probably still not going to be that warm yet. Fuck you. AEW title match on Dynamite. What the fuck? You have a pay-per-view literally a week and a half after it. Save it for then. It's Samoa Joe. He's one of the few stars you have who's been around the world and is an actual badass. Throw it on Dynamite. Chicago's not one of your biggest towns anymore. You cut the one guy that was giving you that. You cut him loose.
Snip.
The fuck are you doing?
Snip.
What's John Moxley going to do in a week and a half after that? You going to run it back with Joe? Going to waste another possible championship match on that? Is he even going to be on the fucking card?
Probably not.
Garbage. Why are you wasting this on a fucking Dynamite when you can build to a story to have him in a big match on your Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which is supposed to be your second biggest pay-per-view? Technically, right?
That.
All In is the big one. Double or Nothing's supposed to be the precursor
That's
to
your
it.
SummerSlam. Or equivalent. Final
match was Joe versus Claudio. I put down, sucks he got hurt a lot in WWE because Joe's a badass.
I know.
He and Triple H loved him. But it was one of those things where, listen, man, you can't stay healthy here. We're going to talk about releases in a minute for WWE. It's one of those reasons why some of those talent got released. They just couldn't stay healthy. And Joe was one of those people. Cesaro tapping immediately. Breathes Gunther WrestleMania shot at WWE. Because everything's a fucking shot across the bow with AEW now. I mean, Claudio Castagnoli, the strongest wrestler in the world, tapped in 2 seconds to the Coquina Clutch.
And they probably fought in WWE for many times.
Also wanted to put this down. I get no aura from John Moxley.
Yeah.
I get no presence from John.
That's the part that bothers me the most about this whole Deaf Riders thing, whatever. It's
He
like,
doesn't feel like he's a champion. He doesn't feel like he is the pillar of this company. He feels like he's just there.
Yeah.
It's a random bald dude with a long beard in the middle.
And that's very disappointing considering.
Marina Shafir has more fucking presence than John Moxley does. She looks good. She's ripped. She's a badass. You know, even Wheeler Yuta looks like a homeless man who was mopping a floor last week, and he's in the fucking arena for some reason.
Because for the most part, she's the one that's holding the briefcase and, like, trying to get the briefcase away from her.
Yeah.
So,
I'll
give them one credit. They put her over.
It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't get that from John. I think he desperately needs to go back to WWE if he ever wants to regain any sort of mainstream popularity.
Thing is, WWE doesn't need him.
They don't, which is the sad part for him. Once this is done with AEW, man, he's probably just going to hang out because he's got nowhere else to go. I'm sure Triple H take him back just for the Shield possibilities, but that's not me saying every person in AEW needs to go back to WWE. They can establish themselves and try and get the company over more, but it's going to be hard when the guy writing the show is the guy writing the show. Overall thoughts, because that was the end. 1, 2, by the way, why does every show need to have an overrun? 6 minutes of what? Nothing. Like, write a fucking show that ends on time. It'd be one thing if you were getting this big viewership in the last hour, but you usually end your shows with no one watching. It's usually your lowest numbers. End the fucking show on time. Show you have some mental capabilities to write a show, a 2-hour show, to be a 2-hour show. Some of the stuff that was super long didn't have to go super long. Some of the stuff that was on the show didn't need to be there. Like, the one thing we'll say about SmackDown right now, 3 hours, dot. Netflix Raw, usually 2 hours 20 to 2 hour 30, dot. Done. Once June 6th comes around, SmackDown, back to 2 hours, dot. We're done.
Heck, Exodus Pro.
They're neat and tidy.
They are very tight.
Independent promotions write better wrestling shows than the second biggest promotion in the world right now. It's like, dude, just get your shit together. You can't cut 6 minutes of TV? What's the point? Why, to bleed in another show because they're trying to get a little bit of the ratings from the show after because they need it? To show, you know, Skinamax and everyone else, they're fucking hanging out?
I don't think Modern Family needs an extra bump at TBS.
I put overall, again, the show kind of sucked. Couple nice talents, but matches are weirdly put together and very choreographed. Like, all the matches felt very planned out, like almost to a point where it didn't feel like a fight. And WWE does this sometimes, too. It's not just an AEW thing, but sometimes, and this was more of a very common thing with them, everything looked very staged. It didn't look very like there was actual problems or whatever it was. MJF showed a little, which makes me happy. And again, no replays of anything throughout the show. Very sus. Very like, do you really care about your product at that point if you're just trying to bulldoze through 15 different programs and not actually taking the time to really establish a couple of them being the main ones? Like, you know, being on the show multiple times is great, but why? Like, why do I care about Will Ospreay and you know, Heyman and Page in the second hour? Why is that a big program if you're not going to give me a little insight into that before he's back on the TV again, talking with somebody else completely different from the story? Like, and setting something up that's not even happening yet, that won't happen until after fucking August or whenever that show is, July. So why are you doing that now? It's a mixed match of, we're trying to tell a story long term, but we're also trying to tell this story. Pay attention to this, but also try and pay attention to that.
But the thing is like WWE,
they do it, but they do it subtly. This is like taking a full segment to do something else that's not going to have any bearing for months.
WWE does it with everything in mind in terms of everything's connected.
And they also remind you what happened. Hey, we know you probably didn't catch. Maybe you missed the first 30 minutes. Maybe you missed the first hour of the show. Here's a quick recap of what happened. Even for segments that aren't the main stories, they still show it. Or if that person's going to come back on the show and do a promo backstage, whatever, they show what happened earlier and why you should listen to them now.
Tony Khan
is a scrub.
Well,
he needs a scrub. Did you see him get excited about doing the promo before when he was talking about he did the
Hogan thing? Yeah,
he did the Hogan thing.
Yeah.
How tone deaf are you when WWE has signed the guy and they don't even bring him on the TV anymore?
Yeah,
but you're doing this.
He's
you fucking Mark. He's such a God. I hate Tony. Like, he's such a little boy. He's such a little boy.
I've had enough talking about that show. I apologize for you pass. You get an A+ for.
It's better from the C- when we started.
You get an A+.
This show got a fucking. I'll give it a D, just because there were a couple good things.
When I watch, because I did the homework too, when I watched it, I think back to when Style was here for our panel, at the beginning of the year, and he said, "Look, if you watch AEW with the expectation of WWE Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, forget it. If you watch it with the expectation that, hey, they do have a few big stars, but there are others on the roster that are developmental, that are trying to work their way, maybe either move up in AEW or move up in NXT, you may get somewhere." And there are some people on the AEW show a couple nights ago, even Collision, you're like, man, they don't belong on the main roster anywhere.
They desperately need to get some sort of training facility.
They have it.
Performing center, something like. I'm not saying like up to WWE's level, but they need to do it because they need to train these people.
Yeah.
And put someone in charge that knows what the fuck they're doing. Not someone who was wrestling on the indies for 20 years. Get someone who was in the biggest stage, who was on the level. There's guys out there.
You got to get people who's hungry to be in that position too.
Well, these guys don't care. They're just happy to collect the check, and they'll do whatever on screen. And oh, Tony lets me do whatever I want. He'll just okay pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like
because that's the thing. And again, like I said, I don't mind somebody like Ricochet because Ricochet actually he feels desperate. He needs to prove himself.
He needs to fucking go to promo school
and
learn how to cut.
But that's the thing. He needs to get better too. So it's just like,
and his work is slipped.
You got people who want to get better. So I will give that. You do have people who want to get better. They just don't have a leader there to get them there.
Can we change the definition of work too? Like when you work in the industry, people assume that automatically just means it's only your wrestling. No, your work is all of your work. It's your promo work. It's your character work. It is your ability to tell stories, and it's your wrestling ability as far as what you can do in the ring. It is not just, I can do 3 moonsaults. I can make the crowd go, ooh, one time in a 25-minute match. No, it's everything. And ask anyone who actually gives a fuck about this industry, they'll tell you the same thing too. It's not just that. It is all of it. Their work sucks overall. It does.
And that's
everybody's does.
And that's the thing that they pride themselves on. Like this
is where the best wrestle.
That was the greatness of AEW in 2019 and 2020.
It was like watching WCW Thunder. Oh, you put it out there. Cool. I had the article, but nice.
Go ahead and talk. I'm going to adjust unless you want to move a couple. Nah,
you can maybe slide it a little bit to the middle.
I messed up. But go ahead. These are the releases.
I don't care. There's only really 1 or 2 names on the NXT side that really stood out to me as Double A slides to the right. Yeah. But so the big one was Braun Strowman, and we're talking about the recent WWE releases. Just because he was featured, he had gotten Jacob Fatu over. We were waiting for the Bronson Reed thing. If Bronson Reed doesn't get hurt, who knows? I mean, that could have been a huge program for both of them. Obviously, Bronson's accentuated himself, and he could be that third man, possibly for Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. That'd be a great fit. Someone trying to kind of move up. But Braun was a bit surprising for me. Is there a name or two that kind of stand out to you?
Well, the obvious one was Strowman, just because. Now, I've heard some things throughout the week where
he's making a lot of money.
That was the issue. It was like the injury.
Might see him pop up on Exodus.
And then, I know, right?
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well,
you get to meet your idol. I can't wait for that guy to beat the
Actually, WWE, bring him back.
Braun
Strowman, bring him back. He's a valuable member to your roster. You guys need help, and bring him back.
If you're wondering what we're talking about, Double A has a very, very strong love of Braun Strowman and all of his work in WWE.
Freaking sound like he needs a smoke break every 5 minutes.
But was there like you mentioned, obviously Braun, but anyone else? There was a couple for me that was surprising.
There was a couple on the NXT side, of course. Cora Jade.
That's the biggest one for me.
That's the big one
because she's tied to Roxanne, the CM Punk connection. Also, Cora Jade felt like she could be a star.
Yeah, young too. So again, her path
time to come back
because she's young.
Yeah,
it depends on what she wants to do. Now
she loves the industry.
Now, word on the street, she might be on the OnlyFans side of things for a little bit, but Look, you're young. Find your way, rule the independents. She wants to do that too.
Yeah.
Lead bookings and stuff. And then make a name and come back. It's the Cody path. It's the Drew McIntyre path. It's the LA Knight path. Well, LA Knight got, a little bit differently, but it's those paths.
AEW could work for her, especially if she wants to dabble into some of the other content stuff.
Dakota Kai. Now,
injuries was the big thing, man.
The injuries was big.
Every other year she was tearing her ACL, so it's kind of tough to keep.
And it's tough. And then I just think more of, Gigi was supposed to be.
Gigi was one for me that I always saw a lot of potential in her, and I think the Mandy Rose stuff just killed her career.
Yeah.
And the way they handled her and JC Jane in that breakup at NXT, and that sucked because they had a lot of momentum, and that was a main roster team.
Yeah.
We talk about women's tag teams, that was her and JC were a good tag team together.
Really good.
They were all obviously super hot. They were that was their whole thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like a nice little. If the Attitude Era had women in it that actually could wrestle, and that were presented as wrestlers but still attractive, that was the avenue they could have went with that, and it sucks that it didn't happen. And I don't think Mandy's ever coming back, but I mean, because why would she? She's making more money in a month than she was in a year in WWE. But I mean, that sucks for Gigi.
Shayna Blaze, that was a huge missed opportunity.
She was so dominant.
It
just an actual badass.
It's just the backstory of, hey, you have Ronda Rousey in house, but you knew even before all the bad stuff was going on with Ronda, you knew, okay, Ronda's not going to be around
forever.
Long.
No, a couple years.
So Shayna, she's the one where
she retired.
She
Ronda
actually had an MMA background. She actually could be presented as such, and I think the previous booking team with Vince really blew it.
Well, she's not tall, blonde, and has big tits, brother. She's got to go to the mid card. She's got to be a tag team wrestler.
That blew it.
Triple H's what?
And then now, think about it. 2/3 now of the PCB, whatever that group was called.
Yeah, Zoe Stark is the one name.
Is now gone.
And I guess now the or Pure Fusion Collective or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And now there's rumors that more releases are coming. The names I'm hearing too are kind of frightening because Austin Theory's on that list, Grayson Waller's on that list, Zoe Stark is on that list. There's some names where it's please don't
and the problem you're running into now is
so
that
much
this
talent.
it's not just a WWE thing. Now that you're under TKO, this is corporate.
We got to draw money.
If UFC is struggling with pay-per-view buys, which they are, UFC has no stars. So they're struggling with pay-per-view buys. They don't have a TV deal yet. The bottom line is probably going to affect the WWE side of things. Even if we see WWE on television as a great product.
And they're signing the $5 billion deal with Netflix, and they have all that stuff. It doesn't matter. They're still going to.
If you're not buying UFC pay-per-views.
It will affect WWE.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even a talented team like Carter and Chance, that never really clicked. And
which is why I say again at this point, because Dakota Kai was part of a tag team, Baszler part of a tag team.
But that's why it's frustrating. Everything you just referenced about AEW, that's why the AEW stuff is frustrating. Because if AEW is good, then hey, guess what? If you have these releases, you can go to AEW, you can have people who want to watch the show and then want to watch you, and then now you have a bidding war between the different promotions.
But from this list, I don't see someone that goes to AEW and makes an actual big impact. I just don't.
No.
There's no one on this list that says, wow, they're going to move the needle over there. I mean, Cora Jade has the most potential to, if she really reaches her full potential, if she wants to. I mean, she could, like you said, she can go down the OnlyFans path or whatever it is, or content creation on that aspect, and she's a very attractive young woman, and she could probably do very well. And she may not need to do this anymore. I mean, it's all up to her. She has a lot of potential. She has great mentors and Punk and those guys too that have her back. But
think about even if she, hey, take independent bookings. Think about her even at Exodus.
Oh my God, she'd be having that and now being able to rise to the occasion. Don't just live off of what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Shape yourself and find that character that's going to
Matt
put you over the top.
Cardone, formerly Zack Ryder, that's what he talked about.
Yeah, you got to be able to take that, and you can use it to get where you're going, but then elevate yourself
Mm-hmm.
to a new standard where he's taken seriously now.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he does some silly shit, like he's been able to get over way more than he would have if he would have just stayed in WWE for another 10 years.
I mean,
So-
and think about this too, because now we're starting to see independents starting to be taken more seriously. Think about this. If you go that route, you do have a bit more control as far as what you can do, what bookings you take, which promotions you work for. And because of your WWE background, you're going to be at the top of each card.
You get a foot in the door with that. How you handle
How
it
do
once
you
you're
handle
inside is now up to you. Like, you're going to be able to get a lot of bookings. A lot of people are going to want you. You can probably make some pretty good money, too, depending on where you go. The question is now, how do you handle that? Do you kind of just rest on your laurels and do more of the same shit? Or do you elevate and kind of change your character and mold it into more of what you want it to be so they're forced to call you back?
Right. She has that opportunity.
She does.
Unfortunately, with the main roster, Shayna Baszler,
She's probably not going to be very much. I imagine Shayna
she's
probably
in her 40s.
She probably transitions out of this industry, I would
Yeah.
imagine. If anything, Dakota Kai is another name where she has a lot of talent. She just has to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Katana Chance will most likely go back to American Ninja Warrior or whatever the fuck she's doing. And then Caden Carter will just keep going back to dating Damian Priest. So,
Hey,
more power to her.
not bad. Not bad at all. Let's make this quick. Cena, who's next? Any chance? What are the percentage of, what's the odds of Randy Orton beating John Cena?
It's in his hometown, so he's probably not going to win. But it should be fun. I think the match, because they're two similar styles now, they both work a little bit slower. It should be a fun match.
How will Cena win this match?
Well, they're teasing Cody coming back now at this show. So, do we not get Cody right back to John? Is it kind of like when Cody lost the title the first time when he kind of had to go on a longer path to get back to John? Do you go Cody, Randy separate away from the title to build up a main event level feud that doesn't involve the championship because John's not going to be there every week, and have John kind of circle around that and fight whoever he's going to I imagine John will be in a Money in the Bank match. Not in the actual match, but he'll have a match there. He won't be at Saturday Night's main event, I don't think. Maybe. Well, it's Tampa.
He will be. He's booked.
So he'll be
He's
there.
promoted. He'll be there. He might be Money in the Bank. The show's in Los Angeles. Money in the Bank.
So he'll probably be at both of those. I don't think he's going to be at very many SmackDowns in the meantime. So you're going to need some sort of story to carry over. It makes sense if Randy and Cody somehow got involved, but who knows?
What if?
But I think
Go ahead.
John's next title match, it won't be against Cody because they don't want to run that yet. I don't think.
I agree.
It's not going to be against Punk. Punk's in with the Seth stuff still. I mean, do they try and get Roman out?
I have a name. You're gonna hate me.
No, I won't.
have a name.
I'm open to it. What?
R-Truth.
For Saturday Night's main event, that makes a lot of sense.
R-Truth. Even, you know what? It's a premium live event, even for a B-level pay-per-view.
Well, Money in the Bank is considered to be one of the big ones now.
I know, but think about all the stars that's in Money in the Bank.
I think
R-Truth's an entertainer.
Saturday Night's main event, I'm okay with that. Believe it or not. Because John needs longevity with this.
I'm just being selfish because I want to see one John Cena R-Truth match. I'm just being selfish. The story, in my opinion, because of the comedy, the story's too good not to do it.
There. And it's part of John trying to crush all the facades of his previous life.
It's part of R-Truth buying into John Cena. That's his childhood hero.
And we also know, too,
it's great.
They don't give a fuck about Saturday Night's main event as far as actual booking serious stuff for that show. So we can...
I can make an argument that you could sell Cena R-Truth for a B-level pay-per-view main event.
That is a B-level pay-per-view, so that works out pretty well.
I could even
main event, I don't know.
I could sell.
I don't know.
I could.
Depends on what else is on the card.
Yeah. If it's Money in the Bank, where it's like
No.
loaded, I think
Saturday Night's main event, I don't think that's the main event. I think maybe that opens the show if it's Cena versus Truth. Also, it's in Tampa. John could be home by now.
I don't care about the logistics of the card. They'll be on the card.
I don't mind that though. Believe it or not, I don't hate you for it.
I'm just trying to envision. I was talking with some of my buddies. I was trying to envision how would Cena actually beat Orton.
He'll cheat.
What if Travis Scott's there again?
I would not be surprised. That's like his key to victory now is just the guy who shows up once every 2 months.
Like Travis Scott. Now I'm thinking about it.
He's
could
the
be
X
one
Factor.
of the top heels.
He's the X
in
Factor.
pro wrestling now.
Yeah, people hate him. That's great.
Yeah, people hate him.
They hated him before.
St. Louis, who already is traumatized from their Stanley Cup playoff
Yeah,
loss.
they care about the Blues out there.
Boy, heated. We already went to commercial. So we'll go real quick. So part of rapid fire is this. This broke yesterday. Well, today as of our taping yesterday. So Ricochet says some stuff on Twitter, and Javon Evans responded.
Brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels when you was like 12, then went on to become multiple-time champion. Let me know when you win one, little boy.
So that's what Ricochet tweeted.
Mind you, Javon is actually bigger and probably heavier than Ricochet now.
But Javon is 21 years old.
Like 21, 22. You learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multi-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade, am I right? Javon Evans just became my favorite wrestler. This is what I'm talking about, like being able to see the moment and take it. Like, and this may not go viral, I don't know, because it's Ricochet and who cares. But like,
it went right. This
Javon Evans, man, I'll tell you what, dude he needs to get obviously a little bigger because he looks like a toothpick. But the talent, the Gen, what is it, Gen Y now? Is that his age group? Is it Gen Z? Is it Gen Y? I don't know.
Why?
Why?
I think so.
Why? Because he does shit like this. It's great. The ability to kind of young boy people, but still like big boy them. It's fantastic.
The only thing though,
what was the initial back and forth? Because I'm sure they said something before this. Do you know?
It was
someone had to talk shit about someone to start.
Well, Javon Evans.
Was it about Sam? You said it was about Samantha, right? That was
it wasn't about Samantha.
Okay,
Let me see if
you got me excited for nothing. Then I thought it was beef about.
Hold up for a second here, because Javon Evans, I think his Twitter went down.
Oh.
Well, the only thing I'll say is like there might come a day where Javon Evans might need a job. Can't call the other.
Yes, you can, and he did.
Call him a crackhead.
It's out there. Can't redact that shit. It's out there, baby.
Call him a crackhead.
You're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade. Am I right? That's fucking great.
I think somebody, I don't know what the initial situation here, but Ricochet is like, I'll squash him. And then Javon Evans quote tweeted.
I'd squash. Oh, because it was Baron Corbin who said something. And then he said, I'd squash him. My bad. I just got training at the Performance Center under Shawn Michaels, something that you don't have or do. But I bet your brown egghead ass would squash me if Tony told you to. Much love, Ochi.
Then you got the Ricochet. Then this reaction happened after.
Shawn Michaels when you were 12, yeah.
And then.
And became multiple times. Sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention. So you had to come for a successful ass young. You're giving me the most views on my posts, and I'm finally helping you get the most attention you've ever had in your career. All love. I fucking love it, dude.
I'm calling it. It's over. Calling it. That's it.
What a coincidence. Being a troll ends up getting you bitch slapped by a guy who's, 10 years younger than you? Maybe more? How old's Ricochet now? 35, 36? He's in... Damn.
That can't be happening.
Javon Evans, man, my boy. Love to see it. I'm looking forward to your ascent into the stratosphere of NXT once they eventually decide to call up Trick Williams and Obafemi and you become champion. It's going to be great. Looking forward to it.
Real quick, Will Ospreay said earlier in the week that in-ring, WWE doesn't compare. AEW is top of the line.
What is he supposed to say? He's the biggest star in AEW. He's not going to tell him that. He's not going to tell the truth. I mean, he's not the workers.
In quote, I just wanted to get the quote. In ring, I generally don't think there's anyone from that side, WWE, that have matches like any of our guys.
There's nobody in the company, not Seth Rollins. Nobody.
Said nobody on that side.
Yeah, it's all.
Why
is he talking about WWE? Like, stop.
Now he also said they could cut great promos, and he mentioned some names. He name dropped Roman as somebody who cut a great promo. They cut great promos, but once the bell rings, I'll take.
Why?
The AEW
because
guys.
He's not running like a chicken with his head cut off for 25 minutes. No, he's actually telling a story in the ring. Roman is one of the best workers ever because of the psychology he brings to it. John may not be doing moonsaults, but John Cena, one of the best workers because he gets the crowd engaged in the match. Whatever pace, 2008 John or 2025 John, He gets the people involved and invested in the match. Not because he's doing 45 flips, but because he's telling a story.
I'm going to play a quick clip. You just need the audio. But you remember the interview that CM Punk did last year? Kind of applies to this situation. It's only 15 seconds. I'll just play it into the microphone.
If you're more happy with some goof saying that you had a 5-star match and the building's a quarter full, we're not in the same business.
It's this preconceived notion by people that have listened to Dave with the Insider and all that stuff, and they think all wrestling is. I'll beat this point till it's dead. All pro wrestling is just in the ring doing moves. If you think that is what pro wrestling is, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But if you're looking at the overarching industry, you're wrong. You are wrong. Just because they didn't have cable TV in the 50s and 60s didn't mean cutting promos wasn't important. Didn't mean psychology in matches wasn't important. Selling, the full story. Ospreay still doesn't get it. Stop talking about WWE. You're not in competition. You can barely keep up with their developmental program. They've been beating the ratings. On the CW. On the C-fucking-W.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
watch it to
get
the
to talk.
every week.
You don't get to talk about them. You don't. You don't. I'm sorry. It's laughable when you do this shit. And we both said Will has a lot of potential, and he's a good professional wrestler, and he's shown he can cut promos. He's shown that ability. That could be one of those things where Triple H looks at that and says, he's got a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all the tools we want. But it's shit like that. He thinks it's all about moves. You guys can cut really great promos. You're really good at that. But you can't wrestle like me. What do you think pro wrestling actually is? Part of it is being able to carry yourself in the ring. But that's only a part. It's not the full circle.
I'll take it a step further, Kyle. What is television? What is movies? What is entertainment?
Enter-fucking-tainment.
What is entertainment? Entertainment. You got to bring people to the dance. You got to have
Thank
a
God
story.
Tony's booking smaller venues that only hold 4,000 to 5,000 people, because if he wasn't, again, they're still going to arenas and all that stuff. You can't. And they may not ever be able to. Who is going to move the needle for them in the next 10 years?
Oh, boy, that's a great question.
What free agent signing? What person are they developing? They're not developing anybody. It's all the guys that are on top that are getting screen time, mostly, are former WWE guys.
That's a great. But that's why it's important to hone in Will Ospreay. Like that's your guy.
MJF, Will Ospreay,
like those.
Hangman Page, for whatever it's worth. Like you,
Swerve.
Swerve is a former WWE guy.
I
He was
know.
on doing main roster shows. He
Yeah.
was He was a champion. He was the North American champion.
I think of Swerve though as an AEW guy. I think Swerve is the one guy who's been able to make himself a bigger name in AEW than in WWE.
But he's not getting.
So I'll give him. Swerve.
He's not getting any bigger.
I know.
That's the sad part. He's gotten as popular as he's ever going to get in AEW.
And they took a huge risk here with this failing Death Rider story. Like it's clear that
Jon Moxley will never be more over than he was when he was with the Shield, and when he first came to AEW.
So, Will Ospreay, because you could see it here, Will Ospreay is going to be in that main event at All In or All Out,
Most likely, yeah.
in Texas.
Yeah.
That's what they're building, and he'll probably win the championship. Is there going to be enough damage? I'm sorry. When you went through the AEW Dynamite, I'm just like, this is bad.
Who's
because it's not even just like
who's leading that company? Who's going to be the person that makes sure they can be successful and keep drawing ratings 10 years from now?
It's like they try to take in a little bit of the criticism, but not really. It's like a half-assed effort to try to take in the criticism, but they took away the entertaining parts. So like now the show's fundamentally bad and it's not entertaining.
There's nothing wrong with being an independent wrestler. There's nothing wrong with having that mindset when you're on the indies. But when you have made it to one of these top companies and you still think so tiny picture, about yourself and about your company, which is supposed to be competing with the biggest one.
You got to elevate.
You're never going to grow. You're never going to get bigger. You're only going to keep going down.
You got to elevate.
You'll have a couple peaks. You'll get a few pops in there, most likely when you bring in some of these guys. Rhino got the biggest reaction of the night. Rhino, 49-year-old Rhino, got the biggest pop out of anybody. Swerve was the only person that got people chanting consistently.
Yeah, you got to elevate.
That's it.
There's a reason why Conan O'Brien lost his job to Jay Leno. Like, you go from 12:30 to 11:30, you got to elevate.
And
if you don't elevate, then that's that. It's showbiz.
People are going to think again that you're just piling on AEW, but it's like, I don't say all this stuff because I hate them. I don't hate the company. I don't like Tony Khan. I think he has no idea what he's doing, and he's proven that. He had the golden goose. He had the goodwill of people that were tired of WWE stale bullshit in 2019. And he steadily dropped the ball over the last 5+ years.
So let me flip this for you real quick, and then we'll wrap. We're running Ray Long. Thank you, Pete, for hanging on.
Yeah, Pete's yawning in the back.
Let me flip this. I'm going to give you a flat-out first-take question for you. Triple H is in charge of AEW. Tony Khan is in charge of WWE. Who's more successful in like a 5-year span?
5 years, Triple H.
No question. With the AEW roster.
With the first year or so, because it's WWE, they would still have numbers. But if Tony Khan's writing the show, and you'll see a lot of people jumping ship to AEW in that point because Triple H is running that program. No, that's easy. Triple H has been in this business for 4 decades. He's learned from guys that, listen, we've talked about it before. Vince has issues. As a person, he's a piece of shit. But he knew what worked and what didn't. And when he didn't, like I think Triple H had that one story about Shawn Michaels recently where he's like, you're out of touch, old man, and didn't do his shit. He let that person go in a correct fashion. It's Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest stars ever in the company. He can get a little more freedom with that.
Yeah.
But letting fucking Ricochet write his own shit, or these guys that have not proven they can actually draw money or be on that level.
It's just little things, too.
Letting Jon Moxley be your champion and not actually show the title. When's the last time that title's even been shown on AEW television?
And we've talked about it before. One of the biggest merchandise sellers of any pro wrestling company ever is your World Championship. It's a premium item that is easy to sell.
I didn't see any titles when I watched either. I didn't see any belts in the crowd. You're missing an opportunity. WWE gives it to freaking teams. Like, they brand that shit. It's an easy $300.
Very easy.
Because people want to buy that shit. They're true fans. They love it. They want to carry it. They want to put it on the wall. They want to do the whole thing.
I have more recognition of what the NWA World Championship looks like when EC3 had it than the AEW. It's just fundamentally bad.
I hope to God that at some point someone gets to Tony and just tells him, I don't care if it's Shane McMahon, if it's whoever, get someone in there that knows the business.
I advocate. I don't want to lose because that Exodus is great. You get EC3 and Noah in that building, you'll see a difference in the span of 2 years.
Tony knows better, and the problem with Tony is he's in his 30s, so he's still young. He'll do this until the wheels are never going to fall off. We talked about this. He's got the money to back them. He'll start his own streaming service before he lets the company go under. And
he probably will.
And he'll pay for it.
We'll show it to you one more time before we wrap. There it is. Vote, Cleveland Scene, Best Sports Podcast. If you made it this far, put it a vote.
This is officially, I think, the longest show we've done.
Put it a vote. Kyle will not watch AEW programming for the next 3 months.
I just picked the wrong day to watch. I should have watched the Go Home show so I could have maybe gotten a semblance more of something coming to a head, but this felt very much like a what the fuck are we doing? So, it's all your fault.
I know what I'm doing.
You made me watch it.
We're going to BA, sweeties. I'm hungry. We're done. Good night. Or good morning.